Hi, and welcome to the Getting Started with WearBands video. I'm Dan Schreiber, the founder of WearBands. And before we get started, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for being our customer. Thank you for your order. We're super excited to see so many people from so many different walks of life getting involved with WearBands and discovering that with our system you really can get a more productive, more time-efficient workout and actually get more results in less time because of the way WearBands work. So we're super excited to have you on board, and we just wanted to let you know how much we appreciate you as a customer. So let's get started. If you have your WearBand system on, or even if you don't, it should look something like this on the front, and here's a rear view. Now, of course, if you're a woman watching this video and you watched our women's system setup video, we show you how to remove this front pad, and you actually flip the belt sort of upside down, so this ring in the front here is actually facing down for women. Other than that, the women's and the men's setup is identical. So, first thing we like to tell people, when you put on WearBands for the first time, you're probably going to discover something. You feel a little bit like a puppet, right? The bands are sort of pulling you up like this if you walk, and it feels a little odd. It feels a little different. But what we will tell you is, in short order, that feeling will go away. What we tell people is just walk around a little bit. We tell people, make sure that you're pulling the bands and the bands aren't pulling you. And after a few minutes, and when you start to work out, your brain and your body get pretty used to this new resistance they've been put under. And that strange feeling will go away, and pretty soon you'll be moving very naturally in the bands. Of course, you'll be working a little harder, but you'll be moving very naturally in the bands, so don't worry about that. And the other thing we like to tell people is, because WearBands is a more efficient, more productive way to work out, when you put on WearBands and maybe you're used to a 30-minute workout or a 60-minute workout, and you try to do that same workout, don't expect to get all the way through it the first time with WearBands. That's really the whole idea. You're working out more productively, your body's under constant tension, so you're probably going to find out after you're halfway through, two-thirds of the way through what might have been a normal workout, is you're going to feel pretty tired at that point. But that's cool, that's the whole idea. You're getting more in a shorter amount of time. Now, what you will find out is after your second, third, fourth session with WearBands, you're going to get more comfortable with the system. There's an adaptation phase you've gone through, and it's actually going to start to feel a little bit easier. And when you get to that point, you're going to start building your way back up to that original workout time. You don't have to, of course. You could probably work out half to two-thirds the amount of time and actually get a more productive workout. But if you want to work back up to your original workout time, you'll eventually be able to do that. And of course, when you do that and you get there, you're going to be in that much better shape. So just a couple of pointers to get started. So let's go ahead and get started with some simple moves. I'm going to show you a few things you can do with the system. It's by no means an exhaustive list. You're really only limited by your imagination. There's nothing you can't do in WearBands that you can't do out of WearBands. So whatever types of workouts and activities you enjoy, put on WearBands and go do them. You'll be able to do them. But I'm just going to show you a few things to get started. Some warm-ups, some things you can do standing up, some things you can do on the ground, just to give you some ideas of how versatile WearBands can be. So here's one I like to start with. Just a simple side lunge. If you do these with body weight, it won't take you long to feel the extra resistance you're under with WearBands. And if you want to go ahead and add in a curtsy lunge, go ahead and do that. That kind of gets the quads working. As you can see, no matter where you put your feet with WearBands, you can cross your legs, do a curtsy lunge, doesn't matter. The bands are not going to get in your way, don't worry about that. And then let's move on to a simple squat. Nice straight back, good deep bend, really squeeze the glutes at the top, and you'll start to feel that extra activation. In fact, when we studied WearBands in the lab, we studied people doing squats without WearBands and then doing squats with WearBands. What we found was about a 50 to 80% increase in muscle activation in the upper glutes. WearBands is a killer glute activator. Let's try a simple lateral step like this. Even a simple move like this, because your body is under the extra resistance the WearBands adds, you're definitely going to feel a difference. Now, one thing you can add to these side shuffles are WearBands lateral upper body bands, which I have here. So if you bought the lateral bands, you'll get these blue and orange bands. If you bought the upper body system, they come with upper body bands. which are exactly the same bands, these blue and orange bands. So what you can do to add some lateral resistance to your shuffles is you simply take these lateral bands, hook them up to the rings, front sock ring to front sock ring if you want just one extra band. If you want to crank it up a little more, add your second band to the rear sock ring from rear ring to rear ring. Now you have some really nice extra lateral resistance for these side shuffles. You'll really start to feel it. It won't take long. And then another thing you can do while you have the lateral bands hooked up are some nice marches. It's a great way to get the hip flexors firing, and just do some marches with that. And then when you're done with the lateral bands during your warm-up, just takes a few seconds to unclip them. And you can just throw them aside and keep them nearby for some exercises we'll show you in a little bit. And then how about we'll try some lunges. Just some walking lunges, simple lunges. Nice deep knee bend. Good way to get the glutes and the quads warmed up. You'll start to feel the difference even with our lightest green bands. Of course, you can do just some standing lunges. Maybe you're in a tighter space like this. You just do forward lunge, back lunge, forward and back. And now, of course, I've magically appeared with our upper body system. So if you purchased our upper body system, it comes with our upper body gloves. And again, the orange bands and the blue bands. The upper body bands and the lateral bands are the same, can be used for either use. If you didn't buy the upper body system, don't worry about it. Everything I'm going to show you, you can do with the upper body system or without. But for those of you who did, let me show you how that works. You just put on the gloves. And we're ready to go. So how about we do some old-fashioned jumping jacks? You know, great exercise with body weight. When you do it with WearBands, the level of activation that much greater. I like to go forward and sideways, forward and sideways. Great way to get the heart rate up and warm up the upper body as well as the lower body. Like those. Of course, another one you can do is a skater. A lot of people work this into HIIT workouts. It's great for a warm-up. Great to put into a HIIT workout as well. Obviously, if you're doing this with WearBands, it's going to be a whole new level of intensity, and you're really going to feel the extra burn. So let's go ahead and just do some skaters. Of course, you can do these without the upper body system. If you want to work the upper body system into this skater, then just really throw those arms across as you're going back and forth, and you'll feel the extra activation in the shoulders, triceps. That's a good way to work those in. And of course, who doesn't like a good burpee? As if burpees aren't hard enough. But you add WearBands in, it's a whole different level of activation. We call them super burpees. So let's do some WearBands super burpees. So you're really going to feel full body activation from that. If you're used to doing 10 burpees, 15 burpees per set, you can go ahead and cut that down by at least a third, and you're going to get more benefit and more results just because you're wearing WearBands. All right, while we're standing up here, let's do one more. We're going to do some jump split squats. Of course, you can do these without engaging the upper body system if you don't have it, or even if you do. If you really want to get the heart rate up, go ahead and throw your arms up while you're doing this. That'll really get the heart rate up and activate shoulders, upper back, upper arms. You're going to feel it everywhere. Great way to intensify that move. And the final thing I'll take you through standing up is, of course, boxing. If you shadow box, kickbox, anything like that, obviously WearBands can do any kind of kick, any kind of punch. The uppercut, hook, So if you like kickboxing classes or you're a boxer, or you just want to shadow box with some resistance, WearBands is a great way to go. So there are just a few things you can do standing up with WearBands. Just want to give you some ideas. Obviously, you want to do box jumps with WearBands, you can do box jumps. You want to go for a run in WearBands, you can go for a run in WearBands. You really can do anything at any speed. The bands aren't going to get in your way, so go out and enjoy. But that's just a few kind of basic moves you can get started with to feel what WearBands is doing to your body and start to understand how simple they are to use and how effective they are to use. So now I'm going to take you down on the floor, and let's do some things down there. Okay, so now we're down on the floor. I've gone ahead and left my upper body system on. Again, if you don't have the upper body system, you can do all these same moves without them. If you want to add that extra resistance and extra tension to get a nice full body workout, then go ahead and get your upper body system. All right, so let's go. We'll do some simple booty work. Obviously, WearBands is great for that. Everybody's done these moves, either with body weight or maybe you try to tuck a dumbbell in behind your knee and hold it up like that. Kind of awkward, right? Now with WearBands, you get nice fluid resistance for every rep, and you're definitely going to feel the difference. Let's face it, with body weight workouts, you know, no matter how many reps you do, if it's only body weight, you can only activate muscles so much. So some people do hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reps, but if it's only body weight, those muscles are only going to turn on so much. So when you add resistance like WearBands, you're going to get a lot more benefit out of those reps. And then of course you can do the toe tap up and over. Keep a nice tight leg, squeeze the glutes like that. Of course the fire hydrant, get the abductors working. Then what I want to show you, as I showed you the upper body lateral bands, which are the same bands, so what I can do is take my pair of blue bands again, I can hook them up really quick to the front sock ring, from that ring to this ring, and then do the same in the rear. Rear ring to rear ring. Now when I come down and I do the same booty work with my foot anchored on the ground, you can see it really increases the intensity and of course the results. You can still do the same moves, do the same toe tap, but everything has that added resistance. So that's a great way to intensify the booty work if you've just purchased the lateral bands or the complete system. And we'll quickly go ahead and unclip the lateral bands. And then we'll get on to some other things. Of course, the bird dog is a great move. Hands and knees, opposite leg, opposite hands reach. You can do these with body weight, of course, but the activation is going to be minimal. You want to increase the intensity level of the bird dog, of course, just get up on your feet, get your knees off the ground, and now try it. And it's really going to challenge your balance because those upper body bands are pulling you down to the ground, and you really have to work. So a lot more stabilizer muscles are going to kick in from adding WearBands. Then there's a good old-fashioned plank, right? Some people sometimes take kind of sandbells or a weighted plate to put them on their back. With WearBands, you don't really need to do that because the bands are pulling you into the ground, and you have to stay nice and engaged in your upper body to hold a good plank. And of course, you can go right from the plank to the push-up. Same thing, don't really need a weight on your back because as you get to the top of your push-up, the bands are exerting their maximum resistance, so you're really going to feel that push-up at the top of the range. And of course, there's more than one kind of push-up, right? So here's what I really like. Get up here, bring the knee underneath, and as you go down, that comes up. This is a great full body application of WearBands. Working the upper body, working the lower body, working the glutes. And Hey, while we're at it, how about the Spider-Man push-up, right? Bring one leg up and push back. Up, push back. Up, push back. And while we're down here, let's crank up the intensity a little bit with some WearBands mountain climbers. Now you have to hold yourself up off the ground with the upper body system while you're getting extra resistance in the core and the lower body. And a variation of that is simply this. Great high intensity move, and you're really going to feel that upper shoulders, upper back, and arms kick in as well. And here's what I really like too, the step through with WearBands. Get up to here, simply come through with one leg, come through with one leg while you're balancing with the other. Again, it really requires a lot more of your stabilizer muscles, something you're not going to get with body weight. And we can go straight into this one. Reach, and reach for the sky. Reach, reach for the sky. Again, a common body weight move, but so much more productive when you add in WearBands. And one final one we'll do while we're down here is the star move. You can certainly do this from here. And if you add in our lateral bands, you can imagine what that's going to do to the abductor as you come up. I'm going to add some more intensity. Get up on that one arm. Same thing. Sort of a great isometric move requiring you to stabilize all parts of your body. And for you yoga fans out there, you can certainly do yoga with WearBands. You can do bar with WearBands, Pilates with WearBands. Because of our patented and custom sock, you don't need shoes at all. So if you like to do barefoot workouts like those, WearBands is a great way to bring those up to the next level as well. So do a nice downward dog. Feel that resistance. Lift your leg up. And bring it over. Really, most yoga moves, if you want to increase the engagement, go ahead and add WearBands into those as well. So there's a few things on our hands and knees we can do. Let's turn around to the back and do some core work and a little bit more booty work. Everybody knows the bicycle, right? But when you add in that resistance it's pulling on you, and that lower body really engages hip flexors, quads, and your core. If you want to add the upper body system in, you simply reach on the way up. Get something extra. Then we can, of course, go right into the V-up. Arms up. And do the V-up again. All that added tension is just engaging muscles deeper and farther. And you'll feel it. Another move you might have seen is this here. Opposite arm. And one final core work exercise we'll do here. It's the old-fashioned scissor kick, right? It's a great move either isometrically or get the kick going. Another thing you can do is take your arms as if you're holding a weight. You can work your lats and upper body while you're doing your scissor kick. While we're here, you could do one more. You do the crunch, and then push, crunch, push. And if you want to add something extra, add a little V at the end. finish with a couple booty exercises from down here. We've all done the hip thrust, but now because the bands are anchored to the ground by my foot, you're working against that resistance, so much greater activation than if you were doing these same moves with body weight. Then you could do the single leg and one leg up, same thing. Significantly more activation. So there you go. That's a few things you can do down on the ground. So I hope you found that helpful. Just want to show you a few of the things you can do with WearBands. Like I said before, what you can do is really only limited by your imagination. But maybe try those moves, get a feel for the system, and then go do whatever you want. Remember, with WearBands, again, because of the productivity and efficiency of the workout and the extra muscle activation, you don't really have to do that full amount of reps, full amount of sets that maybe you've been doing with body weight. You can certainly cut those down by a third as you move up into the heavier bands, beyond the green bands. You can actually move those total reps and sets down by as much as 50%. You're still going to burn the same amount of calories. You're going to, your heart rate's going to be elevated, and you're going to get all that additional fitness, strength, and physique benefits from the extra resistance. And then by all means, start working your way back up, challenge yourself. Once one band starts to feel maybe a little too easy, there's always another band to go to. So go out there, experiment, go for a walk with the system, walk your dog. We have a lot of people that do that. I love to use it for hiking. You can work around the house, mow the lawn. Remember, anytime you're about to do any kind of fitness activity, if you just hook up the bands, they're not going to get in your way. Why not burn 25% more calories? Why not increase your heart rate by 10%? Why not get that extra activation? That's really what WearBands is all about. So thank you very much. Never hesitate to reach out to us with any questions you might have. We're always happy to answer them. Thanks again. I'm Dan Schreiber with WearBands. Take care.